City Series cigars and Citrus 7s, black cement 3s, 4s, the hairs and bread 11s. No doubt that I'll be wearing some fire at any sighting. With these Doran Becker 5s, you can see me in any lighting. It's exciting, I'll be flexing to the coldest degree.
What's up, everybody? Sneakerhead M Checks. I got the 2024 black cement 3s releasing this Saturday, November 23rd. So as usual, we're going to take a close detailed look at the shoe from all angles. I'm going to put these on and step around them so y'all can see how they look on feet. I also have the previous retro from 2018, so I'll be comparing the two throughout the video, and we'll go over all the differences between both pairs. After that, I'm going to share my opinion on these, and then I'll talk about release predictions, reselling predictions, and all that stuff. So let's get right to it. Elephant print on these is a little lighter than it is usually. It's also going to vary pair to pair, shoe to shoe, just like it usually does. You'll notice more of that on the back rather than up here. This part's just a lot thinner, so you don't get to see as much of that. But you know, it's definitely thinner than it was on the 2018 pair. Leather on these is mad smooth. No tumble on these like the other retros. And, you know, the toe box itself, as well as the tongues and a couple other things are cut a little bit differently now. Yeah, that's been a thing, but if you look at them next to the 2018 pair from here, you can even see, especially on the tongue, they come with the orange Nike Air hang tag. Let me just get this out of the way so we can see the rest of the upper better. Leather's a little wrinkly on some pairs, on some parts. This pair in particular is actually pretty good as far as that's concerned. You see a little wrinkle right there and a little bit more throughout the shoe, but I've seen some other pairs with some pretty fucked up leather, so like I said, this pair is pretty good with that. And like I was saying, understand there's going to be a lot of variance in this elephant print. It may look a little different on your pair than your friend's pair. It may look a little different on your left shoe than your right shoe. Now, don't get finessed with any fakes thinking that way. You shouldn't really have to worry about that too much when it comes to these, but still. See how, like, tight the elephant print looks on this side? And then you turn it around and over here it looks a lot more loose. Same shoe, but the elephant print pretty much changes just from one side to the next. Meanwhile, the other shoe in this pair doesn't have that problem. See, this inner side is not all loose like that. It's kind of consistent from here to there. Shit is mad random. Like, you really don't know what you're getting with the elephant print. In general, it's a lot lighter or thinner than it was on the 2018 pair, but it's just hard to describe in detail when it varies so much. Here's the inner side. Nike Air on the back. Left shoe has a little red stain on it from the inside of the box. I'm hoping I can get that out, but yeah, it wasn't intentional. They're not supposed to look like that, so please ignore that. Red on the back of the tongue, gray interior, red insoles with black Nike Air on them. Really looks like the inside of the 2018 pair just went on a diet because everything looks exactly the same. These just don't have that extra cushion that the 2018 pair has inside. Just for me wearing them and, you know, unlacing them, this just appears a little bit wider, but definitely, like, when you feel them, these feel a lot more thin in here on the ankle and stuff than these are. These have a lot of cushion. Here's the outsole. Nike Air on the bottom, you know, the usual. Identical to the 2018 pair, as it should be. The box these come in is really just like the box that the 2018 pair came in. Only difference is they have a Nike Air logo right here as opposed to the Jumpman. Everything else is pretty much the same though. You got the elephant print down here at the bottom. Even the interior is the same. Got red in here on the lid, just like it is on the 2018 pair. Elephant print paper, once again, just like the 2018 pair. It's just a little heavier and more prominent on the 2024. They come with this little pamphlet thing like the last Fire Red 3s did. If you unfold it, you'll see it shows how the Jordan 3 is put together and explains each part's performance, benefits, and depth in 3 different languages. Then there's an extra layer of white paper under this. And here's the box label. Air Jordan 3 Retro in black, fire red, and cement gray. Here's a quick all-around view of the shoe. Alright, now let's see they look on feet.
New fit, that's a new flex. Do it cause I wanna do it. I don't care who impressed. Just got paid and I wanna spend the whole check. But I know I really should be saving like Control S. But I'm spending all my money, that's a bad habit. Almost crashed, I was texting, that's a bad habit. Got her cheating on her man, I'm a bad habit. Plus I let her spend the night, that's a bad habit. Headed to the bar stressing, that's a bad habit.
So in comparison to the last retro from 2018, the 2024 pair has a smoothed out leather as opposed to it being tumbled. The elephant print is thinner and lighter on the newer pair. The red on the back of the tongue doesn't show from the front like it does on the 2018 pair. And the 2024 pair is shaped a little bit more like the OG. Not exactly, but more than the 2018 pair is. Being that these just came out in 2018, I feel like another retro in 2024 is very unnecessary. These had just gotten to the perfect age where you didn't see them a lot on a day-to-day basis anymore on people's feet, but they're not old enough yet to start like having midsole paint chipping or any crumbling or anything like that. They had just gotten to that perfect age, and now we got to reset the clock because they dropping them again. And although we didn't need this retro, I have to accept the fact that the black cement 3s are gonna re-release every 6 to 7 years, no matter how I feel. Because sometimes I forget that's how it's always been. They initially came out in 1988. They had their first retro 6 years later in 1994. Then they retroed again in 2001, again in 2008, again in 2011, and again in 2018, and now again in 2024. You know, so actually, the 3-year shit was crazy. Every 3 to 7 years, we get a black cement 3s retro. Like, the longest these have ever been out without a retro is 7 years. That's crazy. I know there are other Jordans that re-release in even shorter periods of time, but it's just crazy when there's so many other pairs that are much more in need of a retro. Now, with all that being said, these are still a must-cop for me. For sure. See, I'm part of the problem. I'm talking about it's too soon for a retro, but even though I got these and they're in perfect condition, they fit and all that, I'm still getting these. So can I really blame them for retroing these as much as they do? Not really. I don't even like these as much as the 2018 pair. Only reason I'm getting these is because the black cement 3s are my favorite 3s ever. I like black cement 3s so much that I need a perfect condition, wearable pair in my collection at all times. It's like that for all my favorites. For now, being that these are still clean and wearable, and I like them better than the new pair, I'm gonna rock out with these and keep wearing them for now. Which I know how Jordan 3s are made, and no pair is gonna last forever. At some point, this midsole is gonna start to crumble due to age, and then eventually they won't be wearable. Either that, or the paint will start to chip on the midsole like you see on a lot of older Jordan 3s. Once either starts to happen, that's when I'll retire these, and I have this pair still dead stock, ready to be worn. And if I'm really attached to the 2018 upper and I want to do the most, I could use these for a sole swap. So although there are plenty of other Jordans that haven't re-released in a long time or at all ever, I can't be mad at them for retroing these the way they do because I'm a perfect example of why they have an incentive to do so. You know, it's like, why give us retros of everything when we're willing to spend our money on the same shoe every 6-7 years? You know what I mean? But yeah, the reason I like the 2018 pair better is because of the leather on the upper. I like the tumbled leather on them more than the smooth leather. The reason for the smooth leather on these is because that's how it was on the OG. Although I definitely appreciate that, the 2018 pair reminds me of the 2001 black cement 3s, and that's the pair that I grew up on. I never owned the 01 pair, but I admired them for years, looking at them on Flight Club, Soul Collector, and all them back then. I wanted them so bad, but they were mad expensive at the time. I remember they were like $850 at Flight Club, which at the time I definitely couldn't afford. I'm a kid, and my parents definitely wasn't buying me no sneakers for $850. So for a while, I just had to keep looking at them, wishing that I had them. Then finally in 2008, they released the Countdown packages with the black cement 3s in them, and that was my first pair. I was so hyped to get them. Those were a lot like the 01 pair, but they just didn't have the Nike Air on the back. They had the Jumpman instead. Although the Nike Air would have been nice, I didn't really care at the time. I was just so excited to get the black cements. Like, the Jumpman was cool. And at that time, like, we were getting everything was releasing with a Jumpman on the back. So, like, even though we all wanted Nike Air, that wasn't even a thing. Like, at that time, all Jordans were releasing with the Jumpman on the back. So, like, if you seen a pair of, like, 3s or something like that with the Nike Air on the back, you knew that it had to be from one of the older pairs. Like, this shoe re-releasing with the Nike Air on the back was not a thing back in, like 2008. So like I said, even though I definitely would have preferred having the Nike Air on the back, I was satisfied with the Jumpman on the back. Like I said, I didn't care. Little 13 to 14 year old me was just so happy to finally have gotten some black cement 3s. I kept them clean and didn't need the 2011 release 3 years later, but I did eventually start to outgrow that Countdown package pair. I got to a point where I was wearing them without the insole. They're a little tight on me. I'm even thinking about like getting rid of those and buying a 2011 pair of my size. And 2018 comes around and we get these. These are perfect to me because they're a lot like the Countdown package pair that I owned and loved, but with the Nike Air on the back like I prefer, which is exactly like the 2001 pair I grew up admiring. So like getting these was was just like, finally, I wanted you for so long. I finally got you. Not exactly the way I wanted you, but it was fine. And then now I finally got you exactly the way I want you. You know, conceptually, I'm gonna always say OG over everything, but for the Black Cement 3s, I do actually prefer some of the retros over the OG. So being that these are more like the OG and these are more like the 2001 pair, I do actually prefer these. I feel like a lot of the people who were alive when they came out and maybe even own the 88 pair, I feel like these are definitely gonna hit home for those people. Not that those of us who were, you know, born after that and didn't have them aren't gonna appreciate them, but like, I can only imagine the nostalgia that's gonna hit for those who own that 88 pair, you know, when they see these. I'm just glad, I'm so glad that they did not ruin my babies with that dumbass reimagined shit. As soon as I found out we were getting these, like this soon after 2018, I was like, I know what y'all doing. Y'all gonna take the Black Cements, fuck them up just like y'all did the White Cements and the Chicagos on the Lost and Found release. As soon as we got that news, I had a heavy feeling that we're gonna slap that nasty ass sail off-white looking midsole on these, make a dusty looking box and probably some other dusty shit on the upper, make them look ashy or something like that. But boy, I am so glad they didn't. Shout out to Jordan and Nike for that. Please keep making more retros like this and not like that. But yeah, all my personal preferences aside, from a non-biased standpoint, I think this is a really good retro. With the smoother leather texture and the more 1988 shape and cut, this is the closest that we've gotten to the OG since the OG. It's not exact, like you can even look at this picture right here. The 88 pair, the shape is just mad, like you see how it kind of like stands out from the other ones. Like I don't think we've gotten that exact shape since 88. This is not that exact shape. I feel like these are more precise with those as far as like things like the tongue, the toe box. This little part right here is a little bit thicker. And I've seen a lot of people complaining about the elephant print on these, which I'm really not even moved by because it always varies pair to pair, shoe to shoe, and that goes for every release. Some releases are going to be heavier than others. Like I know the White Cement 3s had crazy variation on their elephant print. I don't think it's going to be as bad on these, but like we looked at it earlier, like one side of the shoe, elephant print might be like this. We saw how like tight it was on this side. You go to this side, much more loose, you know? And that's literally on the same shoe. It's definitely lighter on the 2024 pair than it is on the 2018 pair. And honestly, I don't care because it looks fine on both to me. Surprisingly, I don't think I have a preference. At least yet. I think that's really because I'm just so used to the elephant print changing so much, having so much variance on each shoe, each release, that I'm just kind of familiar and used to all of the different styles of elephant print at this point. Retail on these is going to be $220, and please, before y'all start bitching, remember a lot of y'all asked for this indirectly. People cried and cried and cried about resellers, price gouging, and how it wasn't fair and all that. So now we're seeing them produce more pairs for releases and raising the retail. Those two factors will make reselling less and less profitable, which will cut down on the amount of people reselling. So if you're one of the people always crying about resellers, please don't complain about what they're trying to do to fix it. They're supposed to be producing a lot of pairs of these on like some military blue Fords type shit, so it shouldn't be hard to cop. Unless you wear a really big uncommon size, you should not have to pay more than retail for these. Being that there's a lot of pairs of these made, retailers will definitely have a few restocks. So if you don't hit on sneakers Saturday morning for whatever reason, do not run straight to GOAT or StockX and pay the market value. You're gonna be wasting your money. Sneakers is not the only retailer for these. I hate when people act like sneakers is the only place to get sneakers from. There are so many retailers for a general release like this. You really don't have to just be that tied up in the sneakers. Now sneakers is gonna have the most stock, so definitely try for sneakers. But if you don't hit on the sneakers, there's so many other retailers. After a few restocks, sizes like 9.5 and smaller may even sit some places. I don't think they'll last long, but I'm just thinking like because of the amount they're gonna make and where market is already like 9.5, 9, 8.5, 8, like they're definitely gonna sit at some places for at least a little. Not that long though. Like I don't see these going on sale or nothing like that, but there are gonna be a lot of pairs made. Market's already pretty low right now, so there's not really that much money to be made on these. Some resellers, if they got the right clientele, will be able to eat off of these still, but for many it's not gonna be worth it. So I think that higher retail's kind of doing what it's supposed to do. It's only $10, so it's not gonna impact a whole lot, but good luck to everybody on copping these. A lot of y'all won't need it, but some of y'all might, so good luck. If this video is helpful and informal in any way, I really appreciate if you give it a thumbs up. If you're interested in more early reviews like this or any other sneaker related content, please do us both a favor and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. Once you subscribe, make sure you tap that little bell icon next to the subscribe button and select all. That way when I put a new video out, you get notified and you won't miss out on anything. Thank you all for watching. Everybody, please stay safe and healthy out there, and I'll see you next time.